Good evening, everyone. So I hope you're having a good night wherever you are. If you're in this part of the world, we're in La Sable d'Olonne, and it's not as cold today, but it's still overcast and raining. In fact, it's a strange one. It's warm and overcast and raining, so that's not too bad. And we get dark here at 5 o'clock and all that sort of thing. In Cape Town, it's still beautiful weather. And Explorer finally got away today, which is kind of cool. But they've stepped out. In fact, it was interesting. The discussion was along the lines, "Hey, there's a truckload of breeze out there." I nearly said shitload. Anyway, truckload of breeze out there. Do we really want to go? And I think Mark made the decision to go because they're all set up to go, and immigration and just psyching up to go. All the work list was done, so they said, "Let's go." And I'll show you what's happening. I think they're just hiding at the moment, wait for some of this stuff to go through. And let's get. Godspeed is still here. They're slipping. They're slipping today. I think it was up the slip to sort out a few issues. And they've got crew challenges. Some of the crew are not continuing, so others are being put on board, and effectively it starts to work out a situation where we as the organizer will need to address the issue of when they actually restart. So it's not an open-ended ticket. We've got to be sure that they can a scheduled restart from here. They should be able to make the restart about 1 week before the restart. So we'd hope that they'll have a passage plan that gives them the opportunity to arrive no later than around about January the 7th. Now for Explorer's just left today, and my gut feeling is that they probably won't get there until about the 1st of January. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully they'll be a lot faster, but it could be sort of 28th, 29th December, something like that. But it could be New Year's Eve and so on. So if you then schedule Godspeed in, they need to get going. They've only been here a few days, so hopefully they'll be underway certainly no later than about a week, and we'll be monitoring that as well. So they've got a chance to get into Auckland, have a week to recover a service, get everything ready before Cape Horn, and we'll keep our fingers crossed. So then Sterner is just about to get to port. They'll be in tomorrow. Their manager gave us an update. They've organised slipping, and they'll be hauled out sometime tomorrow and do whatever they need to do. I would say this is just a haul out for necessity. So they could be able to sort it within a day and then get going again straight away. Everything's on board, ready to go, maybe a bit extra food for what they've eaten or whatever. So let's hope they can get in and out pretty quickly and get back on track. So, that's about it from there. So let's just get onto the tracker and I'll show you what's happening down that part of the world. So we'll start right at the back. It's all pretty benign here. In fact, let's just have a peek at the whole of the Southern Ocean first. It's always good to see what's happening. You can see it's all very benign. This is the benchmark, the roaring 40s. You want to be down here under that and carry on, and there's no real storms. It's pretty stable right now, which is surprising. This is a bit of a monster. This is a huge system here, as in not huge winds, but just massive geographic area, and it just goes on and on and on. So I reckon, let's have a look and see what the sea state's showing there. I reckon that'd be getting pretty big there. Yep. There you go. You've gone from the orange into the white. That's 10, 11 meters, maybe even more, 10, 12 meters. They just continually build. There'll be big rolling swells. So that's to be expected. Anyway, back in this part of the world, what's coming? There's not a lot coming. We've got a high pressure system here that's generating this southwesterly flow, a very distinct southwesterly flow, which is a good thing. It's exactly what they want, and the seas will slowly be building on that, and everyone's making pretty reasonable time on it. So what's happening with Explorer here? If we start pushing this up, you can see it's that dreaded southeaster that we're talking about when you're approaching Cape Town. It can be just as much of a problem when you're leaving Cape Town. So they got away sort of mid-afternoon-ish, late afternoon. I'll pick it up again and you can see what's going on. They're just turned the corner. They're not very far out at all. And they're not in a hurry to hit that purple, I can assure you. I checked on windy. It's gusting 45 in here, and the seas will be pretty reasonable. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's a sort of 3, 4. No, there'll be 4 to 5, and it's pretty much on the nose. So what I think you'll see, they'll only be sailing slowly. They've got the forecast. I didn't give them a weather alert. They know it's coming. And you'll see them go very slowly. They'll just be hanging out here, not in a hurry to jump into that, but it's good to be underway. Once you're ready to go, you got to go. And so what's going to happen to this lot if we go forward a day, you'll see it disappears pretty quickly. So this is sort of like late afternoon tomorrow, early evening, it's gone. And then what the tactic will be is just to get south as quick as possible. So you'll see them ride this on the beam and start heading due south, and turn a little bit as they can. So so don't expect any dramatic moves tonight. They'll just be hiding there and just taking it steady because they know it's going to blow, and they're better off hitting it first light tomorrow. They could have waited overnight, but then you just psych out because you're all psyched to go. We can see the weather coming, and it's better to be at sea going slowly, settle into the boat, and get ready for that windward work as it comes. So that's a quick grab on Explorer. You can see Sterner there, just heading into port. I forget the name of the port now. I thought though originally it intended to be Port Elizabeth, but I think this had a better slipping opportunity, so they've come up and gone in there. At one stage, I thought they might be going back to Cape Town, but that wasn't the case at all. So they'll be in port, so we don't have to worry about the weather too much there. And we'll push this back and come over and have a look at the rest of the fleet. Sailing in fantastic Southern Ocean weather. This is exactly an average day in the Southern Ocean is basically 35 knot winds, about 3 meter seas, white fluffy tops, 3.5 meters, and 30 to 35 knot winds. That's your norm. And some people would consider that to be over the top, but it's not. That's what you get. A really good day, it'll be down to 20, 25. But some of this stuff here is sort of around 30 knots, gusting 40. But that's exactly what they're geared up for, and they're all making pretty good time. Neptune's on their way down still, 7.6 knots, 165 nautical mile a day. I won't say they're pacing themselves. They're driving hard and trying to catch up, but they're doing quite well. Nothing wrong with that. White Shadow, back on track now. You can see where they dove down to get rid of that storm. That was a wasted exercise for going towards the finish line, but a very strategic and prudent exercise for keeping in reasonably good weather. And now they're just riding with it. So back in the hunt, they've got through all that, doing 8.9 knots. That's beautiful. I hope Explorer can match that when they get in this part of the world, or a bit faster. And 156 mile day, and you've got to say, I keep saying it, they'd be enjoying the ride. They'd have to be, because this is what they're all been dreaming of, to be down there. And it's not extreme, it's just fantastic Southern Ocean. Galliana with Secure, 8.6 knots, trucking along. Who knows what they've got up, but they're always sending fun tweets. And Evrika, 8.2 knots, 143 mile day, level pegging with Galliana, so they're having a bit of fun. And Triana, 8.9 knots, finding it hard to break away from the other guys at the moment. They're, level pegging with other adventure class sailors, which is very interesting. And I think that's a factor of, you're coping with the seas. They'd have pretty well. Let's have a look. I'd say they're probably 4 or 5 meters. Yeah, it's a big sea. So even though the wind's at 20, 30 knots, maybe a bit more. The sea is the thing that settles the boat. It's just surging and rolling around. You can't necessarily put your spinnakers up if the wind direction isn't even allowed. You just got to use boomed out head sails because the boat's all over the place. So there's a few factors, and I don't think the currents well, they might be. Okay, so you can see currents here. Translated 9 just got a hook on that. The rest of them, they haven't got anything ahead current, but they're not getting a big boost from anything really. White Shadow's got a little bit there. Pendu up the front, not much happening with the currents. So we got to Triana, 8.9 knots, still moving really quick, and enjoying that. And then Outlaw down the bottom here, 8.6, strategically in a very good position because you've got plenty of space there to come down here. There's the waypoint, the first one, with the Crow's A's. So they're going to be sailing slightly less distance than the boats up the front here. So that's interesting. Then L'Esprit de Keep coming down after that little interface with the windy conditions, 8.3 knots, 128 mile day, 6 in line honours, 9th in IRC. So they're a bit back on that, and 4th in flyer class. I think Triana will be in IRC. They're 1st in adventure class, but 5th in IRC overall, which is not bad. They're 5th. There's 4 boats up the front there, so they're playing a bit above their game. So all good there. And then translated 9, 10 knots, 209 nautical mile day, 2nd in IRC. That's interesting. 4th in line on it, 2nd in flyer class. I should point out too, I don't talk about it much, but each leg time is cumulative. So in other words, you don't get points when you win a leg and all that sort of stuff. The total time of sailing leg 1 will be added to the total time of sailing leg 2. But what you're reading now on the leaderboards here, and this strategic or the general information is only referring to leg 2. So at the end of leg 2, there will be a grand total where they're put together, and that will show you where the boats are standing overall. So we haven't added on the statistics from leg 1 onto the half of leg 2 sort of thing to come up with the numbers. These numbers only relate to leg 2 of the race. And then when that's completed, they will be combined in another area to show you the overall standing for the fleet as well. So Spirit of Helsinki is currently doing 9.1 knots. Let's put a lot, I forgot translated 10. So translators still got a little bit up their sleeve. 218 nautical mile days. So they sail longer distance than translated, but the speed's a little bit different. And third in line on us, fourth in IRC, first in Sayula class. Maiden right up there. Maiden's a surfing boat. We mentioned that a little bit last night. Completely different hull shape than both Translated 9 and Spirit of Helsinki. They're more a displacement boat, but Maiden is absolutely a surfing boat. Flat bottom, plenty of rig. In fact, I've got to check that because I was looking the other day at some photos and there was something about their rig, and I'm not sure whether I heard the conversation previously or read something about it. I better check on that. She may not have the same rig dimensions as Tracy had when she did her Whitbread way back in '89 and so on. Maybe someone will know that and put it in comments because I'm wondering whether they've got a slightly smaller rig than the original IOR rig back in the day. But nonetheless, they're really sailing well. You got to remember. I've got to be careful what I say. I say, oh, you got to remember they're a bunch of girls. That's not what I mean. You got to remember that they're amazing international teams that have come in. There's all. Oh boy, I've got to be careful again what I say. There's all shapes and sizes on board, little people, big people, all that sort of stuff. And they're really going for it. They're all young and enthusiastic and so on. And you put that alongside Spirit of Helsinki, great big team of brutes up there, big strapping guys that stand, that just heaps of power, powerful boat, all the rest of it. And then you got Translated on the other side. Each one of them is completely different, but you've got to admire Maiden. They're it's quite an impressive story. Anyway, I hope I didn't offend anyone then. Oops. And then there's Penduic, the he-man of the fleet, the big boy of the fleet, because it's a he, and doing 9.6 knots, coming first in line on us. And here we go, wacko, first in IRC and first in flyer class. Now, that's something that Marie's really been struggling for and aiming for and trying really hard for, and she's finally there. So, and that's what we were sort of, what I and many people were thinking, this is where that design of boat really comes into his own, because it's powerful, continuous winds. You can power the boat up. It's got waterline length, got weight. Everything about it just suits Penduic, and this is where he shines. This is exactly what it was built for, and quite rightly, they're sailing very hard and trying to pull every inch of the most out of the boat and everything they do, and they're finally there. So that's impressive. First line on us, first IRC, first flyer class, and how long will it last? That's the next thing, because there will be tactical issues going forward. Especially in the Tasman, there'll be chances for some of the other boats to sneak up around things. At the moment, it's just one big weather gradient. I won't call it a drag race, but it's powerful stuff. And I have no doubt that all the crew on Penduic are absolutely having a ball. This is what they're for. I don't know whether they'll know where they are in IRC. They'll certainly be very happy to hear that they're coming first, but they'll know they're a distance ahead, and they should all be talking on the radio. Anyway, let's just have a sneak at the weather going forward. As I mentioned before, there's nearly a week of, really great Southern Ocean weather coming. So I'm just going to push it through again. So that's the 14th, coming through the end of the 14th. So pretty much the same. It's backing off a bit. So the sea will start to die down just a little bit. The swells will stay probably swells take a day or so to wind down, but the waves on those swells will back off a bit as the wind decreases, and it's all from the right direction. The whole fleet's sitting in a really good spot. You can see the delineation here. There's 40 degrees south, and underneath that, you've got the roaring 40s. Above that, you've got all these troughs. And I'm watching this really closely for the Golden Globe race in 26 because there's some big issue. We have these no-go zones that maybe keeps the fleet a bit high, but that's determined in conjunction with the rescue coordination centres around the world. But it's good to be in this situation. And this year, unlike last year, there's no suggestion that the low pressure systems are further south than usual. Just a year ago, and we can't see many low pressure systems to even talk about it, but there was an uncharacteristic situation where all of the low pressure systems, which are the storms, were like, probably 400 miles further south than usual. And that played havoc on the GGR fleet going through. They couldn't get the breeze. So anyway, that's this is coming up now to a couple of days. You can see it's all really good down along the 45 level. Everything's consistent. Winds from the right direction. Even if we look back at Explorer, oops, you're going to run out of wind. Okay, Explorer will just be making a move to get down here, and then they'll probably park. And maybe also for Sterner and Explorer might line up alongside each other at one point. Anyway, so by the 16th, still fantastic roaring 40s for the whole fleet, which is great. A lot of less things to worry about. Look at that. It's absolutely perfect all the way along. We're now up to the 17th. So there's 5 days, and I'll just push a distance marker on that. So this is coming up to 6 days from now. So 6 days from now, let's take the middle fleet. I'll show you roughly where they should be. Let's say 6 2 is 12, that's 1,200 miles. They won't make 1,200 miles. They'll probably be, that middle fleet will probably be around about here somewhere. Okay, and you can see for the whole next 6 days, nothing but perfect sailing conditions in the Southern Ocean. So not a lot to report on that one. I think we can bail out at that point. We'll have a quick look at the leaderboard. Not that you can learn a lot from that right now. Okay, Pendu. This is line honours. Distance sailed so far 1,700. Maiden has sailed 1,600. And Spirit of Helsinki 1,653. Translated 9, 1610. Now that's interesting. You think then, they must be in a different situation. But this is the distance sailed, around their course as well. And if someone's sailing a straighter line, they can sail less distance, but be further down the track than another boat that might be going north, south, east, west, trying to get down there. So that's something to remember when you're looking at those statistics. Looking at line honours, let's see how far ahead on corrected time Pendu has to claim number 1 position against Maiden, who's coming. Wrong one. What's going on? It didn't pick up. I see. Okay, that's better. So Pendu, theoretical finishing time on corrected time would be 44 hours, 6 hours and 20 minutes. And translated is about 6-7 hours behind. So there's only 7 hours in it, but nonetheless, that's interesting. Yeah. So, okay. So there's not a lot in it, but it's enough. So that's cool. Maiden is another, what's that? Half a day. Another half a day behind. And Spirit of Helsinki is 46.21. That's the front, 42. So it's about 2 days out. So they're still relatively close. So anything can happen there. And then it goes down to Triana, Outlaw, and Galliana with Secure. Boy, they're close. They're only 5 hours difference between Outlaw and Galliana with Secure. So there's some great racing going on there. That's pretty good. Okay, that's enough of a tweak there. Amazing statistic coming up tomorrow. We're a bit stunned. The media, I'll cut out of here first. Where do we go? Here we go. I go this one here. Boom. We'll talk about comments in a minute. Why is that not? Don't tell me we're stalled. Here we go. Boom. We just did a quick take on the media valuation of the OGR from start day to Cape Town, and it's completely stunned us. There is a big media ticket there, which we'll announce tomorrow on social media. So we're very surprised. It's really cranked it right up there. In fact, we've nearly surpassed the GGR. Was pretty impressive. We were announcing that this week as well. It was a couple of 100,000, 220,000. No, it was quite substantial media valuation for the Golden Globe race. And in the past 7-8 weeks or something, we've nearly matched that with the OGR. So there is a big media following for the OGR, even though the social media might not look so heavy. It's out there. It's kind of good news. So stand by for that. Okay, quick comments and questions. Kylie, g'day. Ada, whoop, fair wins for Explorer. Ada is the manager of Explorer, of course, but anyway, Kelly, so will Sterner be disqualified for leg 2 for outside help? It looks very much like that. They're not disqualified. What happens is they're not in the rankings. So what will happen is once they touch shore and then pull out, all that sort of stuff, it's outside assistance, the same as what happened with Godspeed. They can't be in the rankings, but they are now going to be voyaging as fast as they can to Auckland. So they're still in the event. And when they get to Auckland, they will be starting at leg 3, but leg 2 doesn't count. So they're not disqualified from the OGR. And that used to happen back in 73. You know, some boats wouldn't complete one leg, had to get new mast or whatever it is, but that's fine. Better to be safe than sorry. And we don't know what the water is yet, but could be something simple, but better to check. John, where is Sterner going to slip the boat? I forget the name of the port now. Sorry, I'll find out. I did get, in fact, I've got it on my phone, but I don't want to stall everyone here on that. But you never know. I'll just try and see if I can pull this up. We've got a WhatsApp group there that's doing this. Their Explorer pictures. Update from Sterner. They're going into Mosul Bay. Sterner tomorrow in Mosul Bay, so they're headed for Mosul Bay Harbour. Okay, and they're ready for the haul out. So that's all cool. Hope everyone saw the pictures of Explorer leaving. That was a bit of fun. Carl, missed live chat. Sucks. I'm still chatting. Well, anyway, best wishes, Don, Jane, Ada, and all the support staff and so on. Yeah. Georgie's on her way to Auckland tonight. She's at the airport. Jack's having a couple of days off, I believe, headed out to do some tourist things. And I'm working, Jane's working, Ada's doing some bits in the background as well. And Marco's just sorted out our rib that we had there, cleaned that. Rianne and Pete have been doing stuff to get Explorer away. Jeremy as well, helped with Explorer. So a lot going on. We're a bit all over the place. Rob's back in England trying to sort out all the video footage. So stand by for that. Pete Mel, great to see the 2 female skippers leading the pack with Pendu and Maiden. Sure is. That's cool. Captain Coconut never seems to be in much of a hurry. I think he enjoys the food too much. The food and other things. Yes, I couldn't agree more. But no, actually, all things considered, there was a legitimate argument for him to stay until tomorrow because of this wind. But, you get this thing, you're set to go and so it's good just to spend a easy night on board, hiding a little bit, because then you're ready to pounce as soon as it moves rather than delay. It's a psychological thing to delay. It's better to go. Okay, thanks, Judy, Nigel. Thanks, Nigel. Rob, good morning from Adelaide. Oh, good day, Rob. That's my hometown. I was born there. Good evening from Southampton. What's the requirement for you to decide a weather warning? It's very simple. I think all of you probably know all about windy. If you just Google the word windy, it's a very interesting and very informative weather forecasting system. Simple to understand. We subscribe to the highest level of that because you can have better level. It doesn't cost a lot. I think we only pay $30 a year or something to get the extras, and we use that as our main guide. There are 4 different computer models that you can call up. We have a particular one, or one that we favour, but we also look at 2 others. And if we see the forecast wind strength going up to 35 knots, that's the trigger. Okay, and if it's blowing 35 knots, it'll be gusting 45 or something like that, and then we give the weather warning. So if it's not forecasting, if it's forecasting 33, we probably won't do it, depending on the situation. Sometimes we'll just give them some advice. So there's the general rule is it's 35 knot forecast wind and we'll give them weather, but sometimes we'll do it at 30 because there might be something happening. And we usually monitor it 48 hours out. We don't go too far out because the forecast can change and so on, but we certainly have a good look at 48 hours and then we give them a forecast. So Simon, morning from Sydney. G'day, Kerry, done. Yeah, is that okay? Kylie, if Godspeed can't get ready within the time frame, what will happen? Well, if they were going to take 3 weeks, we wouldn't let them start. Okay, they'd be out of the event. But it's all looking reasonable, and we're fully expecting them to get going. But the trigger is to have a reasonable expectation to make Auckland at least 1 week before the restart. That's fair and reasonable. When is Pendu called? Why is? Oh, we did this the other night. Because the family, the Tabley family, call it a he because the boat is such a powerful brute. Basically, hard to call it a she because she ain't dainty and feminine. She's a brute, and that's exactly what Marie prefers Penduic to be known by. So we call it a he, and that's cool. Will you and Jane be heading to New Zealand? Absolutely. Jane's got visas for New Zealand. It was just a problem with Cape Town. So the whole gang will be there, and we're looking forward to it. It's happening quicker than we thought. Again, as usual. G'day, Joe. Mosel Bay, yeah, that's where they're heading. And a big reason for the fantastic media evaluation. Oh, I don't know. We'll see. The team works really hard at this, but I got to tell you, even I was surprised at how high it is because it's only been a few weeks, and we've nearly gone past the GGR, which was 10 months, and it's very interesting to see. Yeah, very interesting because we don't have a big. We've got about 16,000 followers now on Facebook, and we're pretty heavy on Facebook because it's a good way to get it out there, and YouTube and so on. We've got about 4,000 subscribers on YouTube, but we had like 65,000 followers on Facebook for GGR, and much more bigger stuff on Instagram, but we've just gone bang. It's just taken a huge wallop, so it's good to see. So it bodes well for the race in the future. Thanks, Stuart. Sterner just arrived in Moselle Bay. Cool. That's good to hear. I didn't see that. So good to know they're safely in. There was a bit of breeze coming too. So they'll have a chance to have a bit of a wind down, a bit of a rest before they get into it tomorrow. And let's hope they can get the issue sorted. We don't know exactly what it is yet and get underway, not tomorrow, but maybe the next day. We hope that. Since leg times are added together, how does this affect Sterner and Godspeed? How is their time calculated? It was exactly the same. They get no time so Godspeed gets 0 time for leg 1. So you can see what that does. But at least they're in the race. They get a circumnavigation. And this will be the same for Sterner. Pretty much knocks you out of the rankings, but you still have fun. They have potential access to perform extremely well in leg 3. They did pretty well in leg 1. And the same again in leg 4, and they get to sail around the world. That's a big issue, to get the boat around the world, and so that's why they're still in the event. I'm so glad sailing making it into the media. Yeah, it's cool. And there's a lot of the good news is that what we're seeing is we're getting our fair share of general news. It's not sport and sailing. It's general news, and that's what we try for. That's what we try to achieve. But it's a bit of a battle. We're a small team, but we're quite happy with the way it's going at the moment. Your live stuff is great. We all really enjoy it. Good. Explorers is out of the blocks. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, it's good. I don't want to tell you how much money we spent. Those winch handles are real expensive. They lost 4, crazy. Anyway, I told them they can't lose any more. That's about it from me. So we will see you tomorrow. Why is that not coming up? It's supposed to be coming up with the last slide. Oh, don't come here. I can't get the last one on now. Why don't I try this one then? Let's see if I can get the header on. Nope, something's stalled here. Why is it stalled? Hope this is still going. I can't do anything. You're going to have to sign off with me.